Alright, people, so this is going to be the last one of this. It's kind of like it was supposed to be one tiny one, but apparently it turned out to be 3 different parts, or volumes, whatever you want to call it, stemming from what I ended up titling that first one, the Trump check and mate list, which went into the switch and Moses' evil shadow. So this is the third and final one here, at least for this group of subject matter, I guess you could say. Lack of a better word, please forgive me. This one is going to be called Shall We Play a Game? Since that's what they like to do. And this is where everything, not geographically, but where everything, at least situation-wise, in the nexus of what they, as I have already defined in those previous two, have appearing, or appearing to do to the American people, the true American people, not the American imposters. You know, AI, right? So what I've got up here first is kind of like I think one of the last ones I had on the previous one, called I Know What You Are Thinking. And it kind of is the thing that draws Moses into the picture. And again, it wasn't in my picture either, but you'll see why when you see this. And okay, so this one, the image that I have up here right now is basically just saying from the last page that I had, which was in that last one that anybody saw that. Was basically, well, then I have just one last thing to show you, or something like that. I think I had up there before I got to the Moses part. But this was just a little fun something I put in before I decided whether I was going to include it, I should say, as well, or not. But it says, let me show you one last thing. If you don't believe that, and that's what I mean. Or 2 things, or maybe even 23 last things. Because there's 23 what they call portraits or portraits of law supposed givers. You know, make them up and then give them. Right? So that's all this one's saying. So again, this is just the image of the whole face. It is the only whole face, or entire face, not a profile, in other words, that it is on display or hanging, I should say, inside the U.S. House of Representatives, supposed one, you know, or Congress as they call it. And as you can see, it says Moses. And this is in addition to the other, as I also showed in the last one there. Alright, people, so once again, as you can see on the image I have up here now, it hangs over the gallery doors of what I just said, which was the, you know, supposed House of Representatives, or what most know of as the U.S. Congress. And I explained this in the last one already. It's called the 23 Bas-Relief Portraits of Lawgivers. Alright, people, so in the last one that I had this image up on screen here, I had said, oh, just, you know, look up Bass, you'll get it. And I kind of remembered exactly how complex, I say that word again, complex it is. So I'll just kind of briefly mention it here, go over some of what my findings were. Again, based on my experiences, my findings, just letting you know what I did find. So, bas-relief portraits, okay? Portraits, portray, relieve, like it's like supposed to be some kind of home base, I guess, to them, which is definitely not. But especially if you're aware of how the game of Go works. Go, let's go, Othello, or whatever, however many other names it has, I should say. Anyway, so people, just to show you how, sadistic this really is. You wonder what anybody would, and show you some of the other faces or half faces, two faces, whatever it is, are up on this U.S. Congress House of Representatives walls, as in all four, arranged in cultist fashion, but more so in the game of Go fashion, to assure a daily victory every day, or so to speak. What would a true sovereign American man, woman, or even child, if they knew enough, say if they learned that Napoleon Bonaparte, who took place in the attack on this country in 1812, apparently, according to, well, all the sources I've seen so far, whether they've been on screen or off, and the what's known as you've heard so many biblical sayings say, come out of her, or come out of Babylon. What would they say if they knew that the king of Babylon, somebody named Hammurabi's face, was also on those walls? Now, this is everybody at the same time now. What would they say? What would you say? I'd say it's a pretty damn big nexus, if you asked me. I've got on this image that I created up here, a parallel, meaning loaded language, but a parallel construction, because all constructions are not, with a building. It is, but it's with words. It's with a big pile of BS with words. That's what a parallel construction from a con man or con woman or con actor, con actress can be. But what would you say if you learned all of that is on what is supposed to make laws, true honest laws for the American people, the true American people, the sovereigns. And you've got, kind of like a military liaison, clandestine arranger, attacker, from the Franks, because Napoleon is from France, right? He's part of it. Participated in that attack on this country in 1812, and as it heavily appears to be, as well as a king, or the king of, what we know what king to be is, anyway, of Babylon. And it all appears up there with in association with the architect of the Capitol. It kind of takes and there's some other faces up there on that image. It's not all of them, but that's a lot of them that are what you have to look forward to if you ever go look at the supposed American House of Representatives, or the U.S. Congress. So the next image I have up here, people, is about, you guessed it, American estates. This is pretty much, I would say, in biggest part, if not almost the whole thing, why these Franks, these not, Franks from France, I mean Franconia, like bloodlines that go way back, like the Franks, the king of the Franks, like Clovis time, king of the Franks, his grandchild or named child, king of the Franks time, those are the Franks. And if you look at the statutes at large under franking privilege, well, you'll see the only one that stands out that ties them to this, to the USPS, a franking privilege of postage. Anyway, they're known as the Franks, the not Seans, or, a lot of them, which they appear to have always been nested in, which is why I gave those dates so clearly. 1945 to 47, building up, which came in and apparently self-installed themselves as CIA, but that's actually who it appears and apparently was these Franks and not Seatons. It was just after World War II, was it not? Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, in there, I believe, if ask any one of them, whoever has a middle initial L, what that really means, and I think that'll, not only you'll find it out from them, but you'll get your affirmation there as well on that statement. Anyhow, but this is what they've all been after, is to use our free-trade privileges as their own. That's what they've been doing ever since, and they had no right and no authority to not only use any of it, but to have any kind of facilitating powers of any kind in this country. They have nothing. Not that I can find. Okay? Just war criminal force, that's it. They call it a show because they're, Hollywood and, acting and actresses stuff, But in reality, like the Jan 6 thing, right? Talking about the art historian, as he taught and stuff like that. Yeah, they like to play roles and stuff like that. So it's, and having nested themselves in, such a community, the intel community, or in such a central agency, with so many agencies revolving, I guess, around them. Yeah, they self-installed and we never authorized them. None of that. Never. But they've been stealing from the American people ever since. And this country. Mainly the resources and other words, to have their fantasia like Rebin's bomb. Finally, a nation for people. But that's just not what happened. They have to act to do it. Act now, right? They have to act to do it. So, yeah, that's going to have a hard time passing a lot of the true sovereign American people when that is laid on them. But anyhow, so you would have to wonder who is sadistic enough to do, and that's where they all nest, by the way, in those communities, in that intelligence community. So what I have here is now who or what kind of infiltration, happy, invading, mask-wearing, theater-playing, loving, evil beyond words, hijack, replace, then act like they are your government. Just to steal your everything, families, resources, and even way of life. Who would do such a thing? Well, that's right, that would be them, because that appears to heavily be what they've been doing ever since. Like someone who wants your identity, well, that's what the blocking team that is watching me 24/7 right now, of course sent from, you guessed it, CIA. has wanted from me for so long, which is my identity. The first thing they went in and did is invade my living space and my everything and took all of my estate identifying and identity identifying and personally identifying papers so that they could go and make duples of them, if you can imagine, so that this female crew leader could sustain this 7-year-long continuous stalk and harass effort with trespass, although they will blame you for all that stuff now, for this long. That's what she's been doing. And I've already told you as we stand on that so far, and even live the rest of your life instead of purpose of the MK Ultra experiment for CIA, Franks, and Nazis from the Rhine River Valley in Germany. So that's actually where the big bulk of them are from, because that's where all the gypsies came apparently from Egypt and decided to do that phase of it. I mean, there's earlier ones. If you ask any historian, they'll tell you about the Cossacks, and they'll go all the way back to Tartaria ways, but this is who they are, who we're dealing with today, these bloodlines here. And if you ever wondered why the Epstein files or whatever not released yet, or JFK files not released, it's not so much that who did some trigger pulling at such points or offenses or whatever might get caught, because in JFK's case they're mostly dead. It's the fact that those descendants, those relatives, those minions are still very much floating around. That's why they're not released so quickly and have such trouble getting so. Okay, that's the problem there. And by the way, the deal with Epstein, the Epstein I pay attention to, you're going to see here shortly, was onto this thing called go votes. You think mail-in ballots were bad? Well, as it turns out, Facebook had come up with something called a go vote, which you could just, well, they were like votes, but they would remind only specific people to go vote, and then they would go vote with no problem. Okay, so that's what go votes were. But none of those seemed to come in for any, well, against their ways people, like I guess most people would know them as Republicans, or just want to be left alone, true Americans today. Okay? That's the Epstein I pay attention to. His name's Dr. Robert Epstein. He used to be a Hillary supporter. He's a very good man. He pretty much came in and told the truth. And as far as what his findings were, okay, another honest one who came in and shared his findings and his experiences and found, I believe it was somewhere around, it makes in each election a difference of approximately, with a potential of approximately a 15 million vote difference. He had figures of 2.4 million and I think it was 12.6. But as we all know, those are usually much lower. So I just added those two, and that's how I got my estimate, which was the 15 million. But he did definitely affirm those figures as well. So someone wants your identity and wants you to have, wants your way of life, wants what you have, wants your way of life, and even live the rest of your life if you're up there. I hate to admit anything like that, but yeah, if you're over 50 or so, instead of you. That would be pretty bad, would it not? That's what I have up here. This is what appears to have been the purpose of the MK Ultra experiment for CIA Franks, Nazis from the Rhine River Valley in Germany. The steps, well, here's what you do to get them just like this blocking crew that is on me right now with the female crew leader and the, whatever it is, assistant. But it's all about attacking you every day. People, they shut down my phone so many times a day. They make sure I can't get in. They've recently shut down email accounts. They just do this kind of thing to you every day, so you're fighting every day just to be able to function. And that's what they do. That is treason. Complete and total clear treason. And I think they already know what the penalty for that is. However, what's the steps for that? How do you get them like that? Well, first you abduct, then change status to illegal, alien, programmed abductees' assets brain. You program it, so it will only respond to their handlers. And then you try to use them to steal the true American people's estates and, banking privileges that they know. But the question would be, now do you see a programmed brain body spies on you, eliminates you, because they've already tried to do that. They've slow killed 7 years off of my life. More than that if you include all their handlers and their org as a whole. But just this one blocking crew, 7 years off of my life. But they have indeed attempted the kidnapping once. And that was with a whole team load of dudes that they had hired to do that. And again, I've already said her name, I've already said his name, I've already, they're located exactly where I am. They're just nearby, and they have to be so they can keep an eye on you. No, it's so they can spy on you. It's called spying and espionage. But they have to know what you're doing at all times so they can block you accordingly. They can't block you from going to the store if they know you're going to the store. That's why they watch. Most of it's financial, to keep you away from your estate. That, again, is treason. So, now do you see a programmed brain body spies on you, eliminates you, IDs are changed to match you, but they hold them now, just like she currently holds a lot of my estate and personal paperwork, like my certificates of life, birth, and things like that. Because she broke in and stole them through several false displacements and the immediate next new tenant to check on the place kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Just happened to be there and got right in there and, get what you need, right? They direct the theft of your abandoned estate, business, enterprise state from such point which they, meaning CIA and intelligence community, the nest called the harvest. And they do, people. Once they get you gone, they take all the stuff that was put aside for yourself and invested for yourself to support your lifestyle, not only in vivo, they call it in vivo, during life, but after. And that is called the harvest, stealing your own, self-worth, usable during your life, and that's in vivo again, and then turning off or offing the illegal alien abductee, which is the blocking crew that, keeps watching me 24/7. Again, go to the bathroom and everything. Yep, they love that. And per plan, the Franks, Nazis, CIA, with bodies one way, estate assets another or an other. Okay? What will happen is, and what I'm trying to say here is this, they will make a remote checking deposit. If you're an RCD, if you're familiar with that term, it means that as long as they get you the real thing and can make a deposit, so you're not going to be any more trouble, quote unquote, for them, they call that risk, people. Risk, if you can believe it. Risk to their criminal empire has nothing to do with risk of a bad thing. They call you, yourself, who are being stolen from, the risk to their war criminal empire. Okay? But that's what I mean. So they will, that's called putting you in the ground, is the deposit. Then they just take that wallet that they stole at your birth, and they continue to, as they've held it all your life, they will continue to work that in, throw it into a real big mixed up pool, which they tell you not to do, so that you can't identify it, and it's changed names so many times you probably can't count, and that's how they get it from you. So all that just needs to be torn up, You set the value for it as to what you think you have been put through. If you know about it, and believe you me, I sure as hell do, and I've already done so. And it's nice and hard in the files of quite a few. And I believe, just to recall here, there is a Sixth Amendment, 6.2, second section of the Constitution, the Section 6, Clause 2, was something like called the Supremacy Clause. It says any debt that is, as I've set for them already with my amount, that is set for them, whether it was before this country, during, or after, that you're entitled to it. Well, how nice. Look at that. So they've got a very big bill coming, and trust me, it's the numbers don't begin with an M or a B, and they are getting off lucky with that because it still goes on. And the only other letter I can think of at this point would be Q. Okay, so I think it's something like quintillion or something like that. So that's what they have stolen from you people, the American estates, your enterprise state or business state, which they often call just estate for short. That's your business side. Doesn't matter if it's a pack of gum or a new car or several new houses. That is all your privilege, not theirs, but you can see who's using it. Who has all of the evidence right now, people? So unless you've got all those things I mentioned, that's not going to be you holding the evidence. Do you get it? It's starting to sound good now, isn't it? I think so. So those are called estates. That's your business side of doing things. And you also have a private side of doing things, which is your state of being and your sovereignty. That's what that is. But see, they try to rob that money side, resource side from you at the cradle. And they do, perceptionally. But they're caught now, so that's just all there is to it, and it's just a matter of justice time for then. So one more thing, people, as far as like sometimes I have people ask me, so, what would you do? What are you going to do? What would you do then? Or if it's involving them, what would you do? Well, one thing I also need to let you know about this particular blocking crew with a female, crew leader is they're programmed, and they are programmed. What you're looking at, people, if you can see them like myself, and they're present right there, then you need to be aware that is the exact result of their which does, only associate itself with CIA. So that is the direct result of the MK Ultra program. I could tell you now there's something about this that made them just as jumpy and anxious, and they did worse things, but it is linked to them, and that's no secret, so that's it. However, that's what it does. They can program abduct these minds into just listening to only them, doing anything they want, no matter how bad, all that stuff. So, here's what eventually, and one day everybody comes to it. You ask yourself, what would you do if you smelled or sensed a predator had quietly invaded your homeland? This can be as a family, as a group of families, what people know as communities, or a good group of friends, or whatever, or domain, I should say, putting all in danger, which also includes loved ones, or what you would call one's own family or pride. What would you do? And that's what this image is about. Now, I know over the next few, people are probably going to ask me, well, why did you choose, lions? Well, let's just say it has a little bit to do with Well, they tend to always want to put the strongest sounding decals and strongest looking this and that on themselves. But in this case, I was just true to myself. This is one of the ones they tend to choose most of. So I figured it must be safe because it's me, it's myself, it's my sign, and it's just my soul. Okay, so that's why I chose lions, because one of them's talking to you right now. Okay, so in the next image I have up here, people, it's what would you do? Again, I'm asking. If an evil, an invading, infiltrating, usurping, that means trying to act like you, be you, or be like you, whatever, or your people, enemy invaded this, our own, your own country, and took over property like they do in foreclosures, people. Every time there's a foreclosure, I'm going to just let you know this right now. Anytime there's a foreclosure done, if you've ever had one done, or if you're having one done, people, they owe it to you to show you the house note. They never have it because they sell it. It's the only way they can double and triple and quadruple drip on your house. But not only that, that's not the important part. The important part is you have, believe it or not, by SEC laws, through those kind of asset-backed securities, till the 12th month, 11th or 12th month, I believe, of the 33rd year, of the 30th year of such a house loan payment. And the way you can pay for that is with your signature, and that's all it takes. Because once your signature goes on a promissory note and it's not acted upon, you have paid for the place, people. They won't tell you that. But look that one up in your, let them be useful. The UCC1 laws or whatever, UCC laws. Look that one up and you'll find that. So that leaves it impossible for you. Now guess who takes the property though, people? Guess who's been taking all this property from the true American people for themselves so they can use it. Give it to their kids, have nice lives for them, and just robbing the true American people blind. And it will make you more angry than you could ever imagine you would ever get. So that's the way foreclosures work in this country right now and have been for way over the past decade. However, it does go with the fake money system as well, so we'll get to that. But, and took over property, authority, government, and operational control over generations, meaning slowly or by time, and gradually, drip by drip, deceiving the people's true perceptions, life depending, in other words, even life depending on it. What kind of creature does it take to do such heinous things to somebody? Just like this blocking team I'm facing here with this 24/7 watching shit. They know it's treason. They know it's treason. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing is a war crime. But they can't stop doing it. So they will have to be forcibly removed because they know they're doing it and they can't stop doing it. All right, so they know that's going to happen. However, and by robbing the true educations and capital issuing and bank privileges from the said people, trapping them in a Mr. Rogers-like neighborhood, and don't even know it, thinking they are free, functioning as unaware slaves the whole time, while the war criminals, meaning these Franks and Nazis, act on these, CIA bloodline people. Act on, meaning they act on. They pull their war crimes and keep on going because nobody knows what they're doing, how they use their combination of word trickery and stealing your education and the true knowledge of what you're supposed to know and all that stuff. Well, I guess anybody could do that. That doesn't take any true gift. That just takes a criminal. That's all. They have no gifts. They have no talents. They have no money. They have no resources. They have nothing. And if they're caught with it, well, guess what? I think it's just about over with for them. So keep that in mind, because when somebody comes asking for things back, I'm sure it'll be very appreciated that they have them still and would be glad to deliver them back. But if not, I don't think they'll have a problem in just throwing you to the lions or something. But, also at the bottom of this image here, I have the only real masters are we, ourselves, the people, or in other words, true American sovereign people. And I arranged this image with the whole face of a lioness, everybody at the ready, on guard, on point, and at alert, because they're ready for anything. And that's how I arranged that one. Alright, people, so as you can see, the image I have up for you here, it's not exactly a game board, but it looks like one, and that was intentional. And it is called, which is the title of all of this third volume here, I guess you could say, which I can't believe, by the way. Shall we play a game? Because believe me, people, this is what they, and you know who they are by now, have been doing with you from the first day of your very precious life, and they never should have. And what they did is they stole the age-old perceptional notion of a father or a mother passing their knowledge down to their kids. Well, they did it in terms of criminal information, of how to steal from them and how to steal this and steal that. That's the game of Go. Because Go, normally games are played in spaces, in between. Like, in the spaces, you play the games, right? You move from space to space. Now, this fits them perfectly because CIA and the clandestine supposed intelligence community, as supposedly intelligence as they are, want to play on the borderlines. Madonna borderline, whatever. But in between the borderlines, meaning on the borderlines, so they can be considered in the middle. Now, I already mentioned on the last one of these that, Michael Jackson did a song called Man in the Mirror, but if you listen, he's really talking about whoever's in the middle of the mirror, because they did nothing but absolutely just treat him horribly, committing crime after crime, just like they do me, war crime after war crime, and even crimes against humanity, against him, and myself, by the way. So, that's what we're going to do here now. So in this game of Go, which they use for a lot of stuff, and it mainly stands for Galen Organization, because of General Reinhard Galen, who built this CIA as we now know it today, straight from the Nazi Third Reich of World War II, and did it in very fast fashion after that all over the world. That's the Galen Organization, and most probably don't believe that in May of 1950, 52 or 51, whichever one it was, that he has a running memorandum. And guess where? The United States House of Representatives, that teaches them as to what they must say, how they must talk. It's a gentleman's handshake, and that's the best part. Why? Because it means it's a handshake, people. You don't even have to rescind a contract. You just tell them, I'm not doing this crap anymore, and that's it. People do need to be running their own governments right now. Okay, so that's what that part is. But shall we play a game? So before we get to what we really need to get to, people, as far as image goes and something I have for you, I decided I would stick this one in between here. It's called War Game Strategy because I think you're going to need it. That language you don't recognize, that's Japanese. It means exactly what's above it. Okay? But whenever you do this stuff, you have to go into deep mode of thinking, like how you're going to handle this and all that stuff. So you would think, how in the world would one capture the psychopathic? Now this is real life. They're trying to mix real life in with, their stupid ass, kitty ass games, right? So, because nobody's been looking at them, this is where it is. So you say, how in the world one capture these psychopathic, kid-minded, although big kids, whom are war criminals, as they try to tie child fantasy and kitty world and death, life, adults, and real families to steal those inheritances, and mostly with current reality itself, meaning, trying to cross over the Presidio in a theater or something, the stage line and the audience line, because of their writing themselves back into history so they can be owners and own the world and all that stupid, idiotic stuff, which they never will be. They can own with or without deeds. Absolutely nutsos. Okay? However, if one can identify these parties and the games that they play on the true American people, because there's always those watching, and I will guarantee you I'm one of them, and those point in the same direction, same intention, then what is shown is the pre-planned, theme-copied, several structured, time-marked intentions and actions that anyone can see if such a junction of vital information with precisional accuracy clearly shows by many types of evidence, also including behavioral. And again, I'm going to stress here, since I'm proud of it, my own developed system of this kind of evidence, which I call the behavioral plug-in, which lights history up, back, present, and or forward, cloaked or not cloaked, in time, very clear. Cloaked or not cloaked in time, usually making old evidence methods seem old, yes, very clear, junctioning everything to the source, core, location of this con or cons, intelligence piracy or conspiracy is what it is. So tying down all elements to a single nexus, which would be this, what's going on right now, and the faces that I'm showing you, and what their purpose is doing there, and the selection of who's there and all that stuff, with the dictionary homage and the rest of it, and then execute, tying down all elements to a single nexus, which it is all tied down there, and then execute such a capture. Right, that's what it's about. Note above, those inheritances means American enterprise, business states, e-states, and/or estates. The trading freely and/or business doing states of being, side or half of the true sovereign American people. And what I've got around here is some questions that might help you in identifying this half-life or tried-to-be reality attack from a fictional to a real-life attack. You do that, you end up with the big boys, because all it is fraud. And in fraud, there's no statute of limitations, so it's worse for you. So take your pick. But I did write a couple of, looks like 6 or so questions down for it to kind of help you along, and we'll get to those here right now. People, I thought about reading all these questions around this border. But after looking at them again, I'm just going to help you out. You have a strong possibility of having an answer that is yes, but I urge you to read them because you do need to know them going into these last few images here, especially the one which shows the diagram of, how these faces are cultishly laid out in such said room, which is the house chamber. Okay? I'll leave you with that one, so just go ahead and take a brief moment and look around at those questions there around the borders. Think about them, use your imagination, and yeah, they all have a strong, and I emphasize strong, possibility of being yes. Okay? Alright, people, so before I bring this next image up here, which is basically a little something for you to kind of help in the validity of what you're telling somebody that they might not believe, but will nevertheless seal the deal anyway. You can either ask yourself this or ask them. So if a hostile, and they are hostile, trust me, as they sit here and do what they do to me. So if a hostile enemy combatants cover, I put TH up there because it's another V. It's a big V. I don't know if you remember the Reichs, but the Third Reich was World War II. The fourth was escaping there and surviving. The fifth one is what you see now, right here in the good old USA, right? That's what it is. If you've ever wondered questions like, why are the police doing that so unnecessarily rough? Why are they doing it at all this stuff, then it's because you need to understand, people, all of these imposters, these American imposters of civil, what are supposed to be helping you positions, were never here to do that. At least most of them weren't that are doing all of that stuff. Now, there are some honest ones, but, I'm not just talking police officers. I'm talking judges, I'm talking sheriffs, I'm talking judiciary, whatevers. I mean, they can be anybody, bank managers, anybody. It is because, which is also in that Galen memo, Galen Organization memo, that's dated in May of 1951 or 2. I have to go back and look at it. But the House is very familiar with it. Kind of states what they can say, how it's tied to the college kids or the fraternities or sororities, such as an electoral college, if you will, that's not supposed to be either. This refers to the Fifth Reich. The Fifth Reich. And if you want shows like The Voice, V for Vendetta, or any kind of V, and it's big and red, that's what they're referring to, people. That's what my findings, my experiences have all come down to, because if they weren't, this blocking crew and their female crew leader wouldn't be sitting here tuning in to me right now, would they? Right? Right. So, but if you're wondering if a hostile enemy combatant's cover was uncovered right in the nexus, meaning in the place where they do all of their nasty BS upon a country, what might that look like? Okay, and that's what you need to start imagining before I pull up this next image for you, because not only is it going to identify for you where they've been doing it all, and the way and all of that stuff, and how all this is laid out, cultishly and clandestinely. It's also going to give you a tool to be able to capture them with the knowledge that you now have all in one swoop. And at least in my case, that's the way it's going to be. Okay, so let me get this up here for you. Okay, people. So I'm not going to include a lot about this particular image that's up here now, but it is probably the most important one. It's the certificate of capture of all of these, whatever the hell they were trying to do. And it just shows that you have knowledge of it. Explains a little bit about it. I mean, they can't run anywhere because they set up all the cult props right in our own U.S. House of Representatives, or U.S. Congress, in other words. You'll find some terms that are inside the white area, which is, the supposed game area, and the black area, which is not the game area, but you control both. That means you have now a capture. You also have, if you look up, you can look up the word go or game of go as well. I even gave you 2 eyes up there inside that game area as well, people. You'll see that under certificate, your 2 eyes are underlined. Well, that means you can't be killed, as they often try to do. And I did a lot more with those before and after this particular image, but this should, if somebody is working for you appropriately, meaning the government, or whoever call themselves government, they should be doing the right thing here once they see this. Okay, and releasing everything back to you and giving you your proper status. But this right here is called a big dun dun dun. They're caught, people. They're caught. And this is your certificate of capture. You can make your own. You can make another one. You can add stuff on the back. It doesn't matter. I even left a little place there where judges can add their own witnesses, whatever, if they want. But this is my gift to the American people. I hope that somebody can make some use out of it. I know I will. In case you're wondering, ex parte, X-ray L on the right, on the outside. I don't know if you knew or not, but if you don't use those, they think they can do whatever they want with you when you go to court because it's all internal. Nobody will see it external. I don't know if you knew that or not. That's why I did that on the direct opposite side. Internal and external make a whole document, which is what I did at the bottom to make sure there's no confusion. And when you're settling your estate, people, the upper left-hand corner outside there and upper right-hand corner are usually included in tandem, which means in quo warranto, with warrant, and in quia imptores means I believe that means to pay. I believe or come with pay. So that's it. You're pretty much done. And in case you didn't see the word in the middle, that's your keystone. It's actually, people, it's just the knowledge of you knowing it. Okay, so if you look at it really carefully, it's separated into two words. And that T, that is a T ledger, people. It's just upside down right there. But when they wear it upside down, which is right side up as to what they love, it's an upside down T ledger in accounting. Okay, so you now, as you see your keys over there, you have the keys to one, or yourself. You have now captured their bullshit. And anybody, I'm just going to let you know this too, you might not get this in here for now, but under the Roman canons of I believe it's 2049 through 2057, or 2047 through 2059, something like that. But through those, it does list, if one comes a calling for their sesticade accounts, for their sesticade trusts, or for their inheritances, and they are not provided for them, the one that was dealing with it is supposed to receive very quick and just punishment. That's what they do go on, people. It's what their praetorians or their attorneys go on. Okay? So all this is now handed to you. It's right here for you. You can use it as your certificate of capture. It's a little different than a letter of marque. It's a certificate of capture because you are the king, you are the queen, you are the true American sovereign. You can use it to capture this idiotic situation that's been so falsely manufactured to play on people's perceptions, especially the American people, the true American people's perceptions. And you can now use it to capture all this crap and send them back where they came from. Okay? Okay, people, so one of these last images here that pretty much closes out this, what I thought was going to be a 3 to 4 framer, it's ended up being a 3-volume. But what's going to close it out here, and just in case you're confused, that's the American flag up top on the right, and right to the left of that is my flag. It's just one that I made a while back. It's usually one that if there is a, your own flag that's needed for whatever purpose, I made my own. Okay, for that represents or represents you. Okay, so that's all that is. No big deal, no need to be alarmed. But this is about you. Well, myself as well, all of us. And it's called True Americans. Okay, not American Imposters or AI. Alright, so here we go. True Americans, at the top, we'll go right. Well, I'll start with the left. Therefore, it's kind of what's up is up. Here we go. True Americans will never drop our guard, and we never will. You can't afford to in a free country. True Americans will never play or utilize any kind of games, secrets, lies, untruths, theater, acting, in or slash acting in protecting the true American people, including also our own precious American families. You don't do it like that because you put them in more danger than not. Okay? And or our, meaning we're not going to put it at risk, because we're definitely not going to do that. And or our 100% pure American families. I am who I am, so I put pride. But you can use that too. I'd be ever so honored. So over to the right, I have true Americans are proud to be American, and we are. True Americans are proud for and or of our own American homelands and homes. True Americans are proud for and or of our own real biological families, as well as those of whom we elect our choice. That means our choice, our freedom to choose, free domain to choose, our free preferred choice, of whom we elect or choose to be a part of our own families, at our own preference and will. True Americans are proud for and or of our own ancestors and our own American heritage, which includes your inheritance that they give to you or pass down to you, material or knowledge. Those are gifts, people. Those are gifts. Don't let them fool you. That doesn't really mean that. Yes, it does. Look it up. And that's what they were really after, were the estates, the true American inheritances, or our own enterprise states. That's what they were after. Our inheritances. True Americans are proud for and or of, love and respect one another. And this includes also self, privacy, space, and property, which also includes intellectual property as well, and are united. This is what I'm talking about here. If you notice, all of these shots, you have one up on top who is alert and watching and ready for predators. Okay? And everybody else is just being what they were meant to be in the first place, from a higher power themselves. A family. That's all. And as you can see, they're not hurting anybody. They just want to enjoy themselves on this earth and be a family. So, to read the last one again, true Americans are proud for and or of, love and respect one another. That includes as well self, privacy, space, and property, which also includes intellectual property, and are united. This is what I mean on this image when I say it is our own 100% pure American pride. And I'll let you substitute that with family or whatever you want to put there. I just tend to call mine a pride. Okay, and pride meaning proud. That's why you see all the prouds up there. Because we're a very proud family. But 100% pure American pride, and don't ever forget it. For me, it's been over 1.5 decades, people, of pure torture taken, endured, and it's been everything. I don't want that to happen to anybody else. So please take my experiences and my findings and my time, a decade and a half of nothing but that, of pure that, and use it to your advantage. I beg you to do that. Alright, people, this is running like way too long, so I'm gonna read this screen here, and then you got about 7 more screens coming. I'm gonna let them run probably 45 to 47 seconds each. Pause it if you need to, and here we go. To all of the true American sovereign people, please take the information from these last 3 presentations, especially the 2 certificates in this one. Read, use, and apply them, and as or if necessary, protect yourself and your family with them. As you come to comprehend what you are looking at, you will realize, with the help of countless true Americans, and I mean countless, there were so many I had to lean on to get the correct information to get this out to you, and I thank them very much. Then a major victory is passing to you here. Victory being one of their word trickery words. That's why I put it in quotes. And a long lost and way overdue inheritance. Lost is one of them as well. Over in German is Uber. So that's why I put that one in quotes. And inheritance they never shared with you at all, for obvious reasons, because they were trying to keep it from you. That's the self-capital issuing privileges and powers that you have that they've been using. And a long lost and way overdue inheritance. This is our own enterprise. States, e-states, business states, free trade, because that's what it is, with direct and full knowledge of such, is passed to you now as well, or perceptionally returned to you now, because perceptionally, that's the way they've been doing it, people, is deceiving you and playing on your perceptions, making you think one thing when it actually means another. So that is also perceptionally returned to you now as well. You're going to get about 7 more screens. 3 of them is going to deal with the instructions of how to deal with side 2 of the certificate of capture that was in this presentation, how to complete it. The 4th screen is going to be that actual certificate. It's called your State of Being Alive certificate. And then you're going to get another couple of screens after that, which you're going to deal with. I had discovered there were actually, in referring to the U.S. Constitution or Declaration of Independence or Articles of Confederation, America's founding documents, none of them seem to be called that, by the way, but they are, these idiots who are doing all this government usurping right now, they have split fever, SF. 2 very important words in their world, but, important letters, or SF as the abbreviation, but they have split fever. That's how they got your inheritance or your wallet from you at birth. That's when they did it, by sending it around to all these departments. And they split it off of you. And not to mention other horrible things that it appears that they did with it. But that's what this Side 2 is for the State of Being Alive certificate. So just please complete that and sign it, and make sure you put it on the back of that certificate of capture. That puts it all in one sheet, and there's nobody that can contest that in any way from that point on. So with each of these screens that I have coming for you here, I'm going to let them run, like I said, from about 45 to 47 seconds each. I believe the last screen that you're going to see is just a parody of "This Has Been Brought to You By" kind of thing. And it involves Jan 6, not the date Jan 6. It involves Jan 6, the person, the art historian. And that's what they call themselves. That's one of the things they call themselves, people. You know, like, for example, they try to refer to themselves as luminaries or whatever that they're supposed to be at the particular time. They're thinking such psychopathic thoughts. This is one of them. And they say if you can deceive or fool somebody good enough with flash mobs and all that stuff, false media and all of that stuff, good enough, then you can change somebody's reality enough to make them forget that they ever have capital issuing powers, right? Their own capital issuing powers, so they can steal it and use it for themselves, which is exactly what they're doing right now. So I'm just letting you know that, but all of this should take care of that. And by the way, people, it is not, definitely not art. All it is fraud, crimes against humanity, high treason, and war crimes. That's all it is. That's all it's been. And remember, that's also been on all of your ancestors. So don't forget that. But anyway, this is my gift to the American people for the past 17 years and all of the pain and suffering that I've had to go through, that they, meaning those Franks / Nazis or Nazis from the Rhine River Valley in Germany. It goes back before that. I mean, that came up from the gypsies and grifters that came up from Egypt, and even before that, you know, you can trace it back before then, but that's where I stop, because that's way before the birth of this country anyway, so that's kind of all you really need to remember. But, you know, their one word, Usufrucht, that's a German term, by the way, so that's ironic, I found, that allows those that are inheritors to use, you know, the things in this life while they're alive. It's called in vivo. But anyhow, just take a look at these screens. Pause them if you need to. And please know that I love each and every one of you very much. And I wish only the best for all of you. And I think you're going to see a big change very, very soon here. So, again, thank you so very much. God bless you, all of you. And please take care. All right? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Alright, people, this is running like way too long, so I'm gonna read this screen here, and then you got about 7 more screens coming. I'm gonna let them run probably 45 to 47 seconds each. Pause it if you need to, and here we go. To all of the true American sovereign people, please take the information from these last 3 presentations, especially the 2 certificates in this one. Read, use, and apply them, and as or if necessary, protect yourself and your family with them. As you come to comprehend what you are looking at, you will realize, with the help of countless true Americans, and I mean countless, there were so many I had to lean on to get the correct information to get this out to you, and I thank them very much. Then a major victory is passing to you here. Victory being one of their word trickery words. That's why I put it in quotes. And a long lost and way overdue inheritance. Lost is one of them as well. Over in German is Uber. So that's why I put that one in quotes. And inheritance they never shared with you at all, for obvious reasons, because they were trying to keep it from you. That's the self-capital issuing privileges and powers that you have that they've been using. And a long lost and way overdue inheritance. This is our own enterprise. States, e-states, business states, free trade, because that's what it is, with direct and full knowledge of such, is passed to you now as well, or perceptionally returned to you now, because perceptionally, that's the way they've been doing it, people, is deceiving you and playing on your perceptions, making you think one thing when it actually means another. So that is also perceptionally returned to you now as well. You're going to get about 7 more screens. 3 of them is going to deal with the instructions of how to deal with side 2 of the certificate of capture that was in this presentation, how to complete it. The 4th screen is going to be that actual certificate. It's called your State of Being Alive certificate. And then you're going to get another couple of screens after that, which you're going to deal with. I had discovered there were actually, in referring to the U.S. Constitution or Declaration of Independence or Articles of Confederation, America's founding documents, none of them seem to be called that, by the way, but they are, these idiots who are doing all this government usurping right now, they have split fever, SF. 2 very important words in their world, but, important letters, or SF as the abbreviation, but they have split fever. That's how they got your inheritance or your wallet from you at birth. That's when they did it, by sending it around to all these departments. And they split it off of you. And not to mention other horrible things that it appears that they did with it. But that's what this side 2 is for, the State of Being Alive certificate. So just please complete that and sign it, and make sure you put it on the back of that certificate of capture. That puts it all in one sheet, and there's nobody that can contest that in any way from that point on. So with each of these screens that I have coming for you here, I'm going to let them run, like I said, from about 45 to 47 seconds each. I believe the last screen that you're going to see is just a parody of "This has been brought to you by" kind of thing. And it involves Jan 6, not the date Jan 6. It involves Jan 6 the person, the art historian. And that's what they call themselves. That's one of the things they call themselves, people. You know, like, for example, they try to refer to themselves as luminaries or whatever that they're supposed to be at the particular time. They're thinking such psychopathic thoughts. This is one of them. And they say if you can deceive or fool somebody good enough with flash mobs and all that stuff, false media and all of that stuff, good enough, then you can change somebody's reality enough to make them forget that they ever have capital issuing powers, right? Their own capital issuing powers, so they can steal it and use it for themselves, which is exactly what they're doing right now. So I'm just letting you know that, but all of this should take care of that. And by the way, people, it is not, definitely not art. All it is fraud, crimes against humanity, high treason, and war crimes. That's all it is. That's all it's been. And remember, that's also been on all of your ancestors. So don't forget that. But anyway, this is my gift to the American people for the past 17 years and all of the pain and suffering that I've had to go through, that they, meaning those Franks/Nazis or Nazis from the Rhine River Valley in Germany. It goes back before that. I mean, that came up from the gypsies and grifters that came up from Egypt, and even before that, you know, you can trace it back before then, but that's where I stop, because that's way before the birth of this country anyway, so that's kind of all you really need to remember. But, you know, their one word Usufruct, that's a German term, by the way, so that's ironic, I found, that allows those that are inheritors to use, you know, the things in this life while they're alive. It's called in vivo. But anyhow, just take a look at these screens. Pause them if you need to. And please know that I love each and every one of you very much. And I wish only the best for all of you. And I think you're going to see a big change very, very soon here. So, again, thank you so very much. God bless you, all of you. And please take care. All right? We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.